Author Chris Kresser, who believes in paleo diets, says that according to studies, eating dietary cholesterol does not lead to higher rates of blood cholesterol in most cases, and even if eating saturated fat and dietary cholesterol does lead to higher saturated fat rates or blood cholesterol, it still doesn't correlate to higher death rates. Do you agree with this? Why or why not?
Well, it's kind of silly argument anyway, because we're talking at soft endpoints versus hard endpoints. So in other words, it's true that eating more cholesterol in a diet that already has a significant amount of cholesterol, moderating the cholesterol a little higher, a little lower doesn't change your body's production of cholesterol very much. Saturated fat has more of an effect on body production of cholesterol. Nevertheless, modulating these things moderately up or down are not the major factor in imparting your risk of heart attacks or strokes, because animal products in general aren't just straight cholesterol. They're full of saturated fat, cholesterol, animal proteins, and there's a lot of factors going on when you eat animal products. The nutritional profile of animal products in general, they have some negative effects from saturated fat and cholesterol, mostly which increase risk of certain cancers, by the way. But it's also just the low fiber, low phytonutrient, low antioxidant levels, and high degree of those concentrated calories lead to development of certain bacteria in the gut that produce TMAO, trimethylamine oxide, that is pro-inflammatory and excites atherosclerosis. What I'm saying right now, I can give you one after another different mechanisms via which animal products promotes premature death. And we can go over those mechanisms, and cholesterol is one of them, how cholesterol increases estrogen production. We go over those mechanisms. But the point is, when we look at every diet with less animal products versus more animal products, we always see that as animal products goes up in a nation's diet or a population's diet, so does the risk of cardiovascular death. For example, a study that had more than 125,000 participants, and their average following the people more than 22 years, showed that as the animal product went up, consumption went up, from very, very low amounts to very higher amounts, we saw a dose-dependent increase in cardiovascular deaths, with more deaths with every 2 to 5% increase in animal product consumption. So I'm saying the studies are consistent, overwhelming, and non-contradictory. There's no studies that show that, no long-term studies looking at hard endpoints like death, that show that diets high in animal products reduce cardiovascular death, cancer death, or all-cause mortality. All the studies show that they significantly increase cancer deaths, increase cardiovascular mortality, and increase all-cause mortality. So there's arguments, but the arguments are designed to trick people, to give them excuses, and to distract them from the reality is that diets high in animal products kill people. A diet to be protective has to be rich in plant foods, because plant foods contain the phytochemicals and antioxidants that animal products do not contain. So a diet that's not rich in phytochemicals and antioxidants can't be an anti-cancer or lifespan-enhancing diet. So as we ratchet up more oil in the diet, and as we ratchet up more animal products in the diet, we're proportionally reducing our antioxidant and phytochemical penetration of the diet. The micronutrients are going down in direct proportion that you eat foods that don't have those nutrients in them. So as you eat more processed foods or oils or animal products, we see the quality of people's diets go down. Now what these people do is they try to make an argument to show that eating junk food like donuts and white rice and sugar and white bread is worse than eating meat or eggs or something like that, which is also an irrelevant argument. We don't buy a car by comparing it to a junkyard wreck, and because one food is a little better or worse than another, just because eating processed carbohydrates might be more disease-causing than eating an animal product, doesn't absolve animal product of the problems it has. They're both bad, and nobody's saying you should eat refined carbohydrates, or at least not many people I know. We're saying that you shouldn't be eating processed foods and refined carbohydrates, and you shouldn't be eating a lot of animal products either, because our diet has to be, for any diet to be lifespan promoting, the vast majority of calories have to come from unrefined plant foods, period. There's no other way to live healthfully.
How does someone protect their thyroid?
The same way you protect against any disease, because there's obviously, women have more hypothyroidism caused by Hashimoto's thyroiditis. They have more autoimmune attack on the thyroid. It happens when they're younger than men do. Their thyroid cells are more sensitive, and they're particularly sensitive to endocrine disruptors and chemicals in their food supply. So by staying away from processed foods and fast foods and packaged and plastic packaged foods and potato chips, and staying away from the foods that are high on the biological scale of toxicity, then we're going to protect our thyroids. It's a subject that people are distorting like crazy, because when you eat a healthy diet, it moderately slows your metabolic rate. When you eat less calories, it makes you live longer, and it's beneficial to slow a metabolic rate down. And a lot of people think taking more thyroid hormone or thyroid stimulants or looking at ways to stimulate the metabolic rate is better for their health, and it's just aging them faster. So even though I'm saying that if you have hypothyroidism, you do need thyroid hormone so it doesn't get too low, but the amount of thyroid hormone that you're given by your doctor should not push you into the high range of free T4. It should keep you into the lower half, and you shouldn't maximally suppress your TSH to help you lose weight. We should still use thyroid replacement hormone moderately and not overprescribe it. It's better people control their weight with eating right, not by trying to lower their cholesterol or keep their weight down with excessive use of thyroid hormone.
Do you eat a 100% plant-based diet? And if so, how long have you been doing it?
I don't know what the word plant-based means, because the word based means more than 50%, or the majority. So most Americans eat a plant-based diet, because American diet is about 30% of calories from animal products. So they're already eating 70% plants. And most of the plants they eat are French fries and cookies and crackers and rice cakes and breakfast bars and chips and bagels and junk and soda and candy. Those are the plants they eat, processed plants. So a plant-based diet has no meaning to me. I need to be more specific with what you're asking me. I think what you're really asking me is, do I eat a vegan diet? Do I eat any animal products at all? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
The question is, it's hard to remember when I last had animal products, but I have had animal products on rare occasions. I'm not so fanatical that it hasn't passed my lips at some occasion or something one another, but I think it's good to not have animal products in your diet. But I have had animal products, a few times over the last year, I would say. I've had tasted something with animal product in it over the last year or so.